Welcome back to the channel. We're here with another video, and today we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch Lite, but this is the Pokemon edition. There are actually two of them, but this is the second one that was recently released. So without further ado, let's hop right into this video and see what comes inside the box. All right, so first off, there's two things that we need to talk about. Number one, the price of this product is $199. So for those that are unsure how much Nintendo Switch Lites cost, they've always been $199, regardless of the type of Nintendo Switch it is. Don't let the price fool you. There will be people out there like scalpers that's going to try to charge you more money for something that's still at base price $200. And if you're wondering if these are in stock, yes, they are. As a matter of fact, quite a few GameStops. I can't say which area for obvious reasons because of different states, but certain ones are going to have Switch OLED, Switch Lites, and more in stock for the holiday season coming up, Black Friday, Thanksgiving weekend, and all that stuff. So just be aware if you're looking for one, this is the perfect time to grab it if you have the money. Secondly, the audio might sound a little bit different. What am I using? I'm all over the place. J-Lab Ergo Pops. These are the ones I'm using for $19.99. They were on sale for $12.99 at Best Buy. I believe that sale is over, but just in case my audio sounds a little bit different, that's one of the reasons why I like to use the products I buy to give you guys a real example of how they sound on video, not just talk about it and forget about it. Anyway, there's not much to talk about with this particular system. I'm sure if you guys are unaware, which some people are, the Nintendo Switch didn't have Bluetooth for quite some time. But because of the release date of the Switch OLED, if you have that, that's fine. If you don't, that's also fine. There was an update. Also, I did already unbox this and download some games so I can show you exactly how it looks, naturally. But anyway, while I'm unboxing it, let's talk to you about it. Switch OLED actually has a setting in it that gives it Bluetooth. In addition to that, all the other Switches, Switch Lites, they all got the update. So you can hook up a Bluetooth to this, and I will show you guys in real time how to do that. But anyway, this is the system. Honestly, it's not much to show you. I'm sure you guys already seen a Switch unboxing before, but if not, this is all that comes with the Switch Lite. There's your Nintendo Authentic Charger, which when you trade this in, they do want you to kind of have the Nintendo Switch Charger if you're trading into GameStop. If you don't have the original, they might charge you for the original, and that could be anywhere between $20, $30, assuming they even carry it in stock. Or they might have an alternative that you can use, but that's just something that you need to be aware of if you were to trade in the system for any reason. So that's all that pretty much comes in the box. Let me go ahead and put that away. I actually purchased this, today is the 16th. I purchased this on the 15th. I was like, you know what? I needed another Switch, something that I could take with me on a go. And when I saw this one, I was like, this is pretty cool. It's actually really cool. Anyway, this is how this bad boy looks out. Let's get this nasty plastic out of the way so we don't get that glare. Here we are. So this is how, matter of fact, it's still in the picture. Get out of here. All right, so this is how this is going to look. Now, the first thing I saw when I looked at this is that I really like the black. It's like a metallic type black. It's not quite black. It's more like a metallic gray, to be honest with you. The Joy-Cons and the buttons are black, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Most of the time, most Nintendo Switches come with like white or gray or some type of off-color Joy-Con, where when you use it over time, there's no way that you can not get dirt on your Joy-Cons. It's not about being super clean. It's about sweating. It's about if you play it for long periods of time, you sweat, the skin follicles rub off, and your analog stick tends to get dirty. Now, granted, it's still going to happen with this Nintendo Switch regardless. The difference is because this is black, you're not going to see the dirt unless you just never bother wiping down the screen ever. On the back, you have these two Pokemon. To be honest, I haven't played a Pokemon game in years. I did play the one on Switch, but I took it out shortly after. It's too much old-fashioned RPG elements. They need to up that thing and make it where I can fight the Pokemon freely or something. It's boring now. But anyway, you have, I'm going to try to say these Pokemon's names. I'm not going to get it right. I'm going to try to say it. Dialga, I don't know if that's what it is, and Palkia. I don't know if I'm saying it right, and it's Pokemon, so who cares? So as you already know, for anyone that hasn't seen a Switch Lite, I'm just going to give you a little rundown of the little ports. Right here is going to be your case where your games go, similar to the original one. Volume button up, volume button down, headphone jack on top. But again, the system does have Bluetooth, and I'll show you. This is the power button right here. So if you decide to power it on, actually, Let me power it on while we're doing that. This is the charger port, USB-C. I forget the exact amount of voltage this thing takes, but there's no fast charging on the Nintendo Switch, so there's nothing you can do about that. And the playtime does vary between the system. It could be anywhere from 3 to 6 hours sometimes, and I'm just talking about consecutive playing. If you're playing a high-end game, if you're playing Puyo Puyo, it'll last all day for the most part. If you're playing a game like not Call of Duty, but Dying Light, certain games, World War Z, which I do have, these type of games tend to take much more space on your system. They're hard, no, well, not much more space because you do need an SD card. This is only 32 gigs internally. It's a Switch OLED that's 64. So every other base Switch is only 32 gigs. 25 is like usable. Right here, if you remember the original Nintendo Switch, it was just a lever that popped up on the back and there was your SD card slot. But right here, you do have your SD card slot, which I have a 256 in here, which is enough for what I need to do for now, anyway. So now that I unlocked it, let's actually turn up the brightness because I had this thing on the entire night on low charge just so it can download all the games that I have. There we go. All right, so I'll show you how to get there. So from the beginning of the screen, you go to settings. You see on the bottom right-hand corner. We're going to go down to where it says controller sensors. Right below it is Bluetooth audio. Now, the thing about Bluetooth audio is what I mentioned before, because the Switch needed this 4 years ago, and they had the software to do it the whole time. They just didn't care enough to do it. That's Nintendo. That's their problem for not caring about their player base, but what do you expect from a corporation? But anyhow, this is a pretty good piece of software. Now, the issue that I had with, actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk to you about Bluetooth, then we'll talk about the issues I had with the system. The thing about Bluetooth audio is that you can hear everything just fine through the Bluetooth. I haven't had any lag so far. I have used the JLab Eargo Pops with these and some Anchor Buds, the 3S, I believe they're called, I forget. And I haven't had any input lag whatsoever. I haven't had any drop connectivity. Of course, I only took this on the train, and I took this on the way to work. I used it. And on top of that, sitting behind my desk, I just walked around certain dead areas of my building, and the Bluetooth didn't disconnect, so that's a good thing. But remember, it's not like you can really talk into it. The Nintendo doesn't really have voice chat options. Like if you play Dying Light, there's no voice chat option to just talk to the person in front of you. Maybe they updated that and I don't know, but from the last time I played, which was about a week ago, they didn't have that option. In addition to that, the issue that I had with this, and it's nothing to do with hardware whatsoever, but there is two things that you need to be aware of. It's one thing you need to be aware of, and there's one issue that I actually want to talk to you about. So the first thing you need to be aware of is the fact that if this breaks in any way, shape, or form, you're going to want a warranty on the system, especially if you get it at GameStop or Best Buy or certain places, because Joy-Con drift is a real thing. And when it comes to handheld systems, for $100 more or $150 more, you can have the Switch or Switch OLED, which has removable controllers. On this channel, I gave you guys a review on different types of Joy-Con controllers, Joy-Con cases. Just there's many different options to replace your Switch. But with this particular one, if you're a heavy gamer, it's a possibility that you could encounter some Joy-Con lag. But one reason I say not to worry about that too much, excuse me, if you had Nintendo DS, 3DS, things like that, that applies to them too. If you're going to get it, you're going to get it. You never know when you're going to get it. It is what it is. You should have a manufacturer's warranty with the system. If not, I purchased this at GameStop, and I think for like $50-something more or $20-something, I forget how much it is. They give you about a year's worth of warranty. So as long as you still have your receipt, you should technically be able to get the warranty, but I'm not sure if they offer it after day one. It's because I know certain people there. I might be able to actually get that warranty still because I have the original receipt, but it really depends on the teller that you're dealing with and their policy. But anyway, the second issue, which again isn't a real issue in terms of software or hardware, it's a personal preference. And this is going to affect a lot of people that still want this system. I have man hands. If you look at my hand and you look at the system, man hands. Because there's no grips in the back right here, because there's nothing here like a PlayStation controller or an Xbox One controller, or even a Switch Pro controller. They're made for comfort and for longevity of playing games. This is a flat brick system. So it's going to fit against your hand right here. Your thumb could get actually extremely tired from just moving around left and right, especially if you're playing a game that requires precision like Metroid Dread. I haven't really had too much of an issue yet. But when I go in a not first person, when I go in a free aim, I can feel my finger cramping up a little bit over time, which I have to just kind of stop, leave the system alone for a minute, like 20, 30 seconds, and hop back into the game. It's a very small handheld system. They did that on purpose so they can make it 100% portable. I always thought this was a cool system. That's it. That's the only issue. And like I said, this doesn't hook up to a dock. There's no way to make it hook up to a dock unless there's some secret software I don't know about. If you don't play in handheld, if you don't play in dock mode, which I don't either, if I do have multiple switches for at home when I'm playing multiplayer games or I'm sitting at home, but this is strictly for the go. Gotta be honest with you. It's super lightweight, much lighter than the original Switch, extremely light. It's definitely worth it for a younger child, especially if they're the only child and you don't necessarily want them sitting in front of a TV. That's fine. You can take this on the go. You can take any Switch on the go, to be honest. But just this one is much more portable and much more lighter. And I'm not going to say it's a better value. It's actually less of a value if we're talking about the capabilities of the original. And because of the fact that the original Switch version 2 has a little bit better battery life than this one. In addition to that, it has, like I said, you can charge it from the dock. Now, I don't know if there are any different versions of the Nintendo Switch Lite in terms of software updates. But again, for $199, this is actually a good price. It'll play every game that you wanted to, except for maybe something like Mario Party, that requires Joy-Cons, like a Joy-Con and Rumble and some other features. But other than that, just be aware that if you buy the system, make sure that the games that you want are compatible with it. 99% of the games on the 99.999 whatever is compatible with the system. The only issue you might have is that certain games require Joy-Cons, and these don't have Joy-Cons. So you would have to actually sync Joy-Cons to the system. Because remember, this is still a legitimate Nintendo Switch. So any Pro Controller or anything can be hooked up to this if you go to the settings right here and set it up. The problem is you just have a smaller screen. But anyway, I do suggest this. Holiday season, like I said, is coming up. This particular Switch is my favorite one. Outside of the other gray Switch, which you probably can never find again from the last Pokemon launch, that was light gray. The buttons were like blue and red, and the analogs were a different color. But this one, all black buttons. Love it. So the buttons will smudge and get super dirty. It's easier to clean. And even if you don't do a great cleaning job, which most people don't take care of their products, it still looks decent. Of course, get a case. Get yourself a tempered glass. I don't have one on this one right now, but I already ordered it off of Amazon. It's a pretty good system. I like it. And one last thing. Since we're here, one last thing. This has nothing to do with the system itself, but 2 games you should definitely get for this system. One, World War Z, which plays very, very well for this system. It's a 4-player co-op or offline game that you can play by yourself or with multiple people, where it's similar to Back 4 Blood and those other games like Left 4 Dead. Actually, I find it a little bit more fun than Back 4 Blood. But it's a pretty cool game. I think I have like 4 or 5 chapters, a couple stages per chapter, 3 or 4. So it's actually really good. And the second game is, where's my boy at? Here we are. Dying Light, if you can see that right there. There you go. Awesome game. It comes, I think it's $49 or so. It's a little expensive on a Switch because it was already on every other system. But it does come with all the DLC. All the DLC for the game. And I'm assuming any updates that are currently out right now, it'll drop on a Switch. Dying Light 2 is right around the corner, I think 2022 or toward the end of this year. I forget which one. But there's nothing wrong with the original Dying Light. It comes with the DLC also, which is practically a full game in itself. Do yourself a favor and, get these awesome games that actually run extremely well on a Switch without any lag or stutters. Or I haven't had any issues with either of those games so far. And that's super surprising coming from the extremely weak software known as the Nintendo Switch. But anyway, that's the video. Like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.